They're a little rusty. I haven't practiced my finger picking in a while. So, I asked a buddy of mine, R.B. Stone, are you here? I hope so. Come on up here, R.B. R.B.'s gonna do a little some fills for me. This is R.B. Stone, folks. Good to see you, man. R.B. plays over here at Loser's Son. He plays, what's the place across the street sometime? Alley Pub. Can you turn on his microphone there? Test it. There you go. And I asked R.B. to come up and play one tonight. This just seems like a good time to do it. We'll go ahead and do this one. All right, this is a song called You Ain't Chet Yet, and it's about Chet Atkins for all you guitar fans out there. Well, I sat down on a bench outside the local filling station, pulled out that guitar of mine, then I started playing. This old man sat by my side, said, son, you're pretty good, but it takes more than strumming strings and wood. You ain't Chet yet, you ain't picking like a king, you ain't got that thumb thumping like a well-tuned up machine. You ain't Chet yet, till you make that guitar sing. You got your feet wet, but you ain't Chet yet. So I played him everything I knew, Dave Matthews to Led Zeppelin. Played Satellite and finished off with Stairway to Heaven. Well, he just smiled and looked at me, winked and shook his head, and I just kept on thinking what he said. You ain't Chet yet, you ain't picking like a king, you ain't got that thumb thumping like a well-tuned up machine. You ain't Chet yet, till you make that guitar sing. You got your feet wet, but you ain't Chet. You got your feet wet, but you ain't Chet. R.B. Stone, thank you for coming up, buddy. Appreciate that. All right, let me off the hook a little bit with my finger picking. Thank you.
Glad I had to write up.
All right. Oh, yeah, sure. Questions? A little Q&A? Is that what you want to do now?
Do that or no?
No. Q&A is great. I'm sure there's some questions out there. Yes?
So we've heard about internet publishing. You send your song off to some taxi or somebody, and I just wondered, is that real, or is that a nice to have, or is that one avenue to pursue?
I'm sorry, I missed I kind of didn't get the question.
Internet publishing thing?
Internet publishing?
Yeah. Taxi, or you send your songs off to some...
Oh, I don't know a lot about Taxi. I mean, I've heard good things, but I don't know a lot about them, and there are people here, I'm sure, that have been to their functions, and I've always heard good stuff, but I've never used them, so I don't know.
I think the thing that's important about Taxi, before you start sending your songs off, send them to NSAI. Work with your ASCAP, BMI, CSAC rep. Make sure your songs are ready before you join Taxi. Because the challenge is, you join for like $300 or something, you start sending your songs to them, you get disappointed. Well, they never picked mine, well, maybe your songs aren't ready yet, if you want to take an honest look. But make sure that they are prepared, and talk to other people that have done it.
Mr. Lowry just made a comment here about how, Byron was already successful before Taxi came out. So technically, Byron's in a different program. It's called Limo.
Yeah, right. That's funny. I like that. All right.
Question in the back, Casey.
Yeah, I was in a workshop once with Ralph Murphy of BMI, and he said that #1 songs don't have a bridge or third verse. And so unless it went over my head, it seems like all 3 of your songs don't have a bridge or third verse. Did you purposely write that?
Well, I think from certain periods, a lot of older songs don't have bridges. We didn't write bridges way back when I was first started, and But now it seems to be more important. Seems like songs have to have a little more content than back then. I mean, if you really go way back before I came to town, sometimes songs didn't even have a second verse. So there are a few of those out there. So things change through time. There's no hard, fast rule. There's some songs that don't hook as much as others. Now Ralph is great. I mean, he's got a lot of good information there to go by. But those are kind of rules that you learn and pick up on, and then bend them around and do what you want.
I guess it's important to know the rules and then know how to break them.
Applies to about everything. So,
Questions? Sean?
What's a song that you've had that's been a hard cut that you've repeatedly, 50, 100 times or more?
oh, that's been cut.
Particular
Pitched.
song that you,
Hard to get cut?
Yeah, sorry. That you've had.
Well, Nothing On But the Radio was around for 5 years before it ever got cut. And I know that got pitched a lot. Born Country with Alabama was pitched to a lot of people before it got cut.
And both #1 songs.
I just, gosh, I shouldn't tell this story because it may not happen, but I just got a call. I won't mention the song or the artist, but I just got a call from a pretty big artist this week. He's kind of been around a long time, so he doesn't sell like he used to. But I got a call for a song that was pitched to this artist in 1991, and somehow they dug it up and they want to cut it on the 26th. So, we have this little we don't want to jinx it thing, so I don't want to mention the guy's name, but it would be a significant cut. It'd be one of those legendary kind of acts. Doesn't sell a lot of records now, but if he cuts it, it'd be wonderful. So, and that's a cool story. So hopefully I can tell that story after the 26th of April.
So you have that on your website, right?
I sure will.
ByronHillMusic.com.
Of course.
Any other questions? Come on, curious group out here.
Yeah.
Supposedly song pluggers. There's people that they don't have publishing companies, they call themselves song pluggers.
Independent pluggers, you mean?
Yeah. They just have a business, but they don't
Yeah.
have a publishing company. What do you look for when you talk to them?
Well, the song plugging business has become pretty active in the last, they've been around a long time, independent song pluggers, but it's really gotten, as the major publishing companies have acquired smaller catalogs, and there's just, everything's got kind of bought up, a lot of great catalogs, and small companies closed down. Writers really their songs weren't getting serviced. Or when a writer loses a deal and moves on to another company, those songs are left there at that company, and they don't get serviced like they were serviced by the in-house pluggers. So a lot of those writers, if they've had some success, will hire a song plugger to pitch their stuff. I have one now that I use that I pay her on a monthly basis to pitch my songs, and she's pitching a catalog of mine that's probably 20 years old, some of it.
One more question, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They suggested to do better demos than what you might bring to them. And I don't know if they do that just because they have an in-house recording studio that they're trying to support too.
So you got a song plugger that's suggesting better demos.
Yeah, like to recut the songs.
Right.
What you have.
Well, it might be that their expertise is good and they know you need a better demo. It might be just as simple as that. Pluggers these days, there's a different breed of pluggers. It used to be that pluggers could go out and pitch songs with good guitar vocals or good piano vocals. But see, the difference was they were pitching them to people in record companies and A&R people who could hear those, But now, I think in general, we've got a lot of people in the business who want to hear a finished product almost. They can't really wrap their ears around something that's not full blown. So I can sympathize with your plugger's problem. If your plugger wants bigger, better demos, then it's probably what they think they need to go in. That's the kind of ammunition they need to go in the doors, Because that's, in some cases, what they're competing with. Well, in most cases, that's what they're competing with, very slick demos. So You know, I don't like that part of it. I wish there were people still in the business, and there are a few that can still hear through guitar vocals, but there's not as many as there used to be. Well, you can, if you don't have the money to pay a plugger, you can always work something else out. You know, you've got publishing you can deal with. You could, you know, give the plugger you feel like it could be an effective publisher as well. You could give them a piece of the publishing. You could give them an incentive like a percentage of your net income, sort of like a commission for a period of time after the cut's released, 3 to 5 years, something like that. So they all work different deals. Some of them just want to work on a fee and then get a bonus. If the song is released on a major artist, they'll get another $500, or if it goes top 10, they get another $1,000, and if it goes number 1, they might get another $5,000. It's all found money, so you know, if you hire a plugger, you don't really care. I mean, you want to keep it within a certain cap on how much you give them on bonuses, but it's found money if they go get you a cut, so you don't mind paying them, you know. Where you want to be careful is in giving away your pub to a plugger. You want to make sure that you do that deal correctly, and you're not depending on them to collect your money. So sometimes you'll do a deal with them where they get a slice of the publishing, and that's it. They're not accountable to you as a writer, because some of these pluggers are not really publishers. They don't know how to go collect your money, you know. So there's a lot of different ways you can cut that deal. Commission's the best.
A good entertainment attorney before you sign anything with anyone, okay?
Yes.
At what point in the process do you think it makes sense to get involved with the copyright?
Get involved with your own copyright?
No, doing copyright.
Oh, well, you know, your work is copyrighted from the moment of creation according to the 1978 copyright law. So it's I think you're best to keep. It's almost, a songwriter can't afford it now to go spend. What's the fee now? I think it's more like $50 a song to get it copyrighted, and that just went up. It was $35 not long ago, and so as long as you keep good records, I would keep a day book, who you write with, what day. I would keep good copies of your lyrics and things like that. And if you go and do sessions, you're doing it on a union card. That tracks when a time when you've created it. Also, there's a couple of good services you can use. This service called MyWorks is a new thing that's out there where you can log on. It's MYWERX. You want to check that out, myworks.com, where you can log on and you can make yourself a writer account on there, and you can timestamp your songs as they're created. So that works as sort of a poor man's copyright, so to speak. So we'll get back to you in a second.
A question in the purple here.
Going back to NSAI.
Can't hear you.
Going back to NSAI, when is it a good time for a career in songwriting to join NSAI as a songwriter?
First day you get here, I would say.
Tomorrow evening is their next meeting. The NSAI office starts at 6:30. Advise everyone to go over, whether you're a member or not, go over and join.
I'd say right away, as soon as possible. And even if you don't live here, join.
Who were some of your early mentors or a publisher that kind of showed a vested interest in you and kind of helped shape your craft and your early success?
The earliest person that I had that mentored me towards writing was a guy named Jonathan Stone. I mentioned his name earlier. He later went on out in LA to work with Windswept Music, and he's now started a new company called Radar Music with the same Windswept people. And he's just been a long-time friend, and he was early on. And then a guy named Jerry Teifer who ran ATV. And gosh, there's been some tough taskmasters along the way too, and I would put Tom Collins in that category. He's a guy that I hug his neck when I see him, but he was very, very tough publisher on me, and those kind of people are like professors. You kind of learn to respect them. And,
did it push to make you better?
Oh yeah, for sure. And been a lot of them along the way, and especially a lot of co-writers that are older than me that helped out along the way, that really come to respect through the years. finding mentors is very important. I tell my daughter that all the time. I said, get your mentors while you're young, because the older you get, you know, it's really hard to find a mentor. You know, it's time for you to be a mentor. So you got to get them while you're young. And so
Back there.
I just wanted to address the poor man's copyright. If you send your CD and your lyrics certified mail back to yourself and don't open the envelope, it's a copyright.
I've heard that. I mean, we used to do that years ago, and I guess any way you can kind of establish a date of creation on it, you know, and that would, I guess, you know, so I don't know. I'm not qualified to tell you whether that holds up, but no, I think just anything that establishes when you wrote it that you could take into a legal situation would help you. So there really aren't people out there lined up to steal your stuff. So but I understand the fear that you might have about that. So.
I just wanted to remind you that I gave you someone's keys.
Oh, that's right. Who's looking for their keys tonight?
The white Sebring, I think. Put a clicker on it. Yeah.
Anybody lose their keys? If you didn't lose them, would it be found? One more question out there? Yeah.
When you're songwriting, do you split up jobs? And I remember hearing about Elton John and the guy he wrote with, and one would write the words and the other one would write the music. Is that how you write, or do you kind of collaborate on both sides of the page?
If I'm writing with someone like, let's say, Brent Baxter, who's just a lyricist, you know, that's pretty well said. I'm going to write the music, he's going to write the lyrics. I'm happy to get in the back seat and let someone else drive the car anytime, you know, and sometimes it works that way. Someone's really just they're on a roll with an idea, and you just kind of let it flow. But for me, it's lyric and music, generally. And I'm contributing to both. But it's different with every collaborator, you know. If I'm working with a great guitar player that just has a great sense of melody, I'll set mine off to the side and I'll just, you know, hold the legal pad and work with a pen and paper or a computer or whatever I'm doing on the lyrics. So you know, all different ways.
I'd like to say something right now. This man Dave is like the most organized man I've ever seen. Time to time. He did this together. Posters, the advertising. He's why we're there. No, we could have Byron, everyone up here. But without this guy, you're not going to know as much about it. So Dave has done a great job. And Larry, and every one of these guys around here that you see that's here, they've done a great job.
All right, everybody, let's hear it for Doak. Very interesting questions, and it was nice of him not to prepare you in any way, shape, or form for any of the questions that he was going to ask you. That's very special of a good friend of yours. He's your friend, right? Okay. All right. So we're going to switch gears a little bit. Anybody out there feeling like they maybe want to pick up a guitar and play? Because your names are in here. So we're going to pick one name at a time from each category.